folks. Today we're here at Martin Luther King Day. And I know many of you are in the cold areas, and I know all this is happening. But you know what? We're going to have a little bit of fun today because we're going to learn a little bit more than what I know and what you will know. So I have with us today Jerry Wilson, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But Jerry, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here, and I know what we're going to be talking about will be so important to the people that are going to be here listening.
It's great to be back with you, Rick.
All
Absolutely.
right, well, it's great. So as you know, we start off every one of our morning days on Monday and Sundays, and we do this because we have people that are supporting us as so good that they're supporting you as well. And they come into right now. The one is the Shee family, and we'd like to have heartfelt feelings with them because the Shee family has always been one of the most generous and also community-focused people. They've just been helping so many other people, and they have been families throughout all of St. Johns County. And they have the Tringali Barn, which is a premier event, which if you have a wedding or something like that, you could go there. And they're there to be helping premier events that take place that you have, and singing and songs and everything else. Especially nonprofits seem to be there quite often. And then we also find that the family itself continues to support and uplift the countless causes that are here in our St. Johns County. And Chris Shee, we thank you again for that. We know that you are helping the family and you're helping others within this community. And the commitment is to giving back is what you do. And that's really so significant because it makes a lasting impact, a very lasting impact. And we are truly grateful for all you do in this community. And we thank you, the Shee family, for you make St. Johns County a better, stronger place. So here we go again. And we also have another one of DJ's Clam Shack. And you all have heard me talk about that before. It's such a great place to come. They're on 21 Hippolyta Street. And that's where the Northeast meets the Key West. So we start all the way up in New England, in that area. We go through St. Augustine and get to Key West. And there's also other places throughout the state that they're there. And it's some of the things that are rooted in New England tradition, but they also are born in the Florida Keys. So DJ serves up lobster rolls, fried clams, conch fritters, I mean, you name it, and they make it with the fresh and highest quality that with ingredients that you'll love. You'll just love them. You'll go there and you can be there and be on Hippolyta Street. Then you can go walking around in the old St. Augustine. Well, they open on Tuesday, and it's through Sunday from 11 to 9, and it's just a perfect place to grab a bite and then stroll those old streets there, St. George and all of the others around. And you'll also taste the best seafood experiences in the country. So, Jerry, I'm grateful again that you're here because there's so much that you have done for this community, and you're doing so much for now also for a public TV station. And so I would like you to kind of share some of the things that I've known about you, which is so much more that I don't have time for today. We'd have to go for 3 hours instead of just one. And I'm appreciative of what you're doing and how you're helping people, both for here in the amphitheaters and Ponte Vedra Concert Hall and also Fort Mose and you name it. You've been involved with all of this and helping this community, our St. Johns County community, to be good from the Ponte Vedra all the way to the south. And so tell us a little bit about you.
Well, it's great to be back with you, and certainly you're being overly generous with your compliments. I enjoy living here. My wife and I have been married for over 46 years, and she was raised on Jekyll Island, and I grew up in this area as well. So I first moved to Jacksonville in the early 1960s,
Right.
which is hard to believe now. and my dad was transferred frequently. So we moved from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, to Pensacola, to Orlando, back to Jacksonville Beach. And I was fortunate to graduate from Fletcher High School way back when. But the truth is, I've been very blessed to be able to help this community. And after retiring from a long corporate career, I've spent the rest of my time largely working to help out St. Johns County once we moved back here over 10 years ago. So to me, it's the opportunity to facilitate good things through relationships with people. It's that simple.
Yeah. Well, I know you've just talked about some large companies, and I think they took you overseas, at least one of them, and I know the other one was something that had vehicles involved. Right. So tell us a little bit about that, too.
Well, I worked for Volkswagen of America for the better part of a decade, and then moved over and worked for the Coca-Cola Company for the better part of the quarter of a century, so 24 years. And both organizations are great brands, great organizations that believe in their people and their products, and allowed me to see the world, if you will.
Right.
Always coming home to appreciate America.
Yeah. Well, and then you came to Ponte Vedra to live, and that was after you retired from Coca-Cola?
That's right. My wife Jenny and I both wanted to get back where we had our feet in the sand, and so we were able to come back many years ago.
All right. And I know that a long time ago there was a church in Ponte Vedra, and that church is now doing what?
Well, it's now one of the best concert halls in the country, and it began as a Palm Valley Baptist Church, and then became New Beginnings Church, and then outgrew its footprint. And so as it began to move to Nocatee, the opportunity for a live music venue presented itself. And so that's the beginning of the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall.
Well, and I know both that pastor and then there was a developer that was really the ones that brought this in and donated it here for St. Johns County. Do you remember those people?
Well, the pastor who was there was actually able to attend our grand opening when we reopened.
When
which
was that?
Quite special. That was August 1st of 2025.
Right.
So or 2026. No, 2025.
Yeah.
So we just reopened a few months ago after a 14-month reconstruction project. But it is an interesting story because it went from a church to a large piece of property that could have gone to a development of houses or what have you. And there were ball fields that were involved.
Right.
And Roger Osteen, personally, who is the founder of the Park Group, was able to help with the land swap that allowed the church to move to Nocatee, to where they are now, to a great facility, and it allowed the county to purchase this property at a market value, a market rate. And so then suddenly the county was in the business of baseball fields and a building.
Right.
A building.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, well, I know it changed. It now has 2 stories that you can go up to as well, and it's doing all of this, and it does a lot of things, and it's bringing a lot of people in. I know I was just there recently with Judy Collins.
Right.
And, and there's going to be more there all the time. I've seen them before that when you just sat in the regular chairs, but now you have some of these great chairs that you have like you're in a movie theater.
Well, exactly. And in addition to that, what was formerly a county managed and operated business, if you will, is now outside of the county in a public-private partnership, which is SJC Cultural Events, Inc. So the county still owns that building and property, but it's now operated much more efficiently off the books of taxpayers and in a nonprofit, which I'm also a director of.
Right. I know you're on that one as well, and it's been really helpful for all of the people. And I know that some of the things that was part of what was going on is that you have a group there that are friends of the concert hall. Tell me a little bit about those friends, and I think you're, president of it?
Well, first, let's start with North Florida. It's such a music power in the country. And whether it's the roots of authentic bands or whether it's a listening room somewhere in the county. But I would suggest that St. Johns County really punches above its weight
Right.
on a national scheme. The St. Augustine Amphitheater today is ranked number 2 in North America for ticket sales, number 3 in the world. The Ponte Vedra Concert Hall will now be the center of over 150 shows a year.
Wow.
So it is very exciting to see what's happening and what that allows for economic development in the county with the Sing Out Loud festival and events, as well as Fort Mosaic Jazz and Blues Series, which we also produce.
And that's coming up in February.
Right, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's right. Because we're on Martin Luther King Day, and this is the date of that whole day of February is dealing with the Black people being able to have come here. And we know that Fort Mosaic is the first place of freedom
Right.
for slaves in America. And so this is a great place. And if you all haven't been there yet, go to Fort Mosaic. There's a lot of things there you can see. They've rebuilt like what it used to be, the fort, and it's just an amazing. And if you get a chance, because those tickets are going to go out soon, and you might not have a chance to go there, but there's some of the best ones there too. So there's a great place to walk on the Freedom Walk there, and I know that you've done that more than once yourself.
Indeed. Yeah.
So it goes all the way out to where the old Fort Mosaic was, and now all the water comes in, so you can't go out there unless you fish. And if you fish, you go around it. So there you go.
Right. Well, and if you haven't seen the replica of the original fort, which funds from that jazz series raised to achieve, it's incredible.
Yeah, no. So I think that would be something really good. Well, as you're doing your thoughts, I know that you have thoughts of promises, and I know you have thoughts of what is that going to be, and how can you make those promises become so easy to do. And I know that part of your life is still doing consulting work and helping others, and but I don't know how you're doing it, because I know you're on WJCT on the board there too.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know, I think you're working now more than you did at Coca-Cola because of what you're doing. You're putting all of your time in to help others.
Well, it's a joy to do, and with my partner and wife Jenny, we she's involved in this as well.
Sure.
So it's a great team approach to that. I love being on the WJCT Public Media Board,
Right.
because right now it's such an important time for public media, and the future is very bright for WJCT, and we have a great board of trustees. The Jacksonville Music Experience is part of that offering to the community, and it's now 100% community supported, which is also important.
Yeah.
But I'm very pleased, and I spend time helping organizations with brand consulting, brand building, and strategy thinking, and I think the older I get, the more I just enjoy that ability to help others.
Well, I've been looking at some of the things that you do, and I used to have one of those cars that you talk about as a brand,
Right.
and I've had it from day one until my wife passed away, and it was called a Mini Cooper, and I don't know if you knew, but I had when I picked up my Mini Cooper from California. Because they made just limited amounts as well, and we drove it all the way back with other Mini Coopers, and so it was a really great trip. They even put one up in Santa Fe. They put it as a balloon and set it up with that to show how light it could be and taking up as well. And it was great to be in that Mini Cooper. That was kind of a very part of what my life was about, of a car. Because it wasn't big enough for 4 people, but it was good enough for 2, so it was good.
It's a classic. Our daughter, who's a assistant professor at University of Central Florida, drives her second Mini Cooper.
Yeah,
and that's kind of her badge, going back and forth to school to teach and do research. You also were a proud owner of the Westphalia Camper, which Volkswagen proudly produced, which I was involved in for many years as well. And I know of your travails across Europe.
Yeah, 6 months. Yeah, 6 months of living in that
Living on
VW
4 wheels.
Campmobile. That's right. That's right. Well, we stopped for different hotels for a week, and we would go there. As we did one in Spain, where you could just be there, and they, for including all the food and everything else, it was like $12 a day, including food. And so would I not stay there? I couldn't afford to get the gas to keep going yet. So
I tell you, it's still a classic today.
Yeah.
But you asked about the Friends a minute ago, and what's interesting about St. Johns County that I've learned since being back many years ago is that between the Board of County Commissioners, the county administration, and the community at large, there's this sweet spot. When you find that sweet spot where the commissioners are well informed and understand what you're doing, they're very supportive of what we're discussing today. The county administrator, Joy Andrews, is part of our business model in many ways because we are in a public-private partnership with the county. And then you talk about the Friends of the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall and also Friends of St. Augustine Amphitheater,
Right.
two separate organizations. I'm reluctant to refer to us as nonprofits because there's a personification,
Sure.
right, of that. And we're a business
Right.
that happens to not make a profit.
Right.
So our goal is to really engage with the community and from a Friends perspective, be the voice of the community and engage with them. Also be an advocate for the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. And I think that's really where this whole thing began, Rick. Years ago, when I was early on my board of directors tenure, I asked to meet with, at that time, Commissioner Jeremiah Blocker, because that was his district. He was
Sure.
to give him a tour of the church that became the concert hall.
Right.
And at that time shared our dreams as the Friends, that we have this dream of a balcony, and had a business case of what that would mean. And after about an hour of discussion, and Joy was in that meeting at that point many years ago, he just said, this is a no-brainer. This is a county-owned facility. We could expand it, we could improve it, and it would be even better. Right now, the combined economic benefit between the amphitheater, the festivals, and the concert hall is over $44 million a year in economic benefit.
Yeah.
And so it's just continuing to grow. And now we've reopened, and the Friends have had a chance to kind of think about why we exist. Because for years, we existed to have great members donate to allow us to put a patio on the side of the
Sure.
building, or a better green room for the artist, or improve the lounge, or to paint the ceiling, or put a new light system in. And so we used our funding for that. Well, now it's a brand new venue.
Yeah, right.
And so we had an opportunity as a board to step back during a strategic planning session over the course of the summer while our venue was under construction.
Right.
And we thought really big. And
Yeah.
so our mission remains the same, which is to amplify the power of live music through community advocacy and engagement. We do that every day. But the vision is really exciting, and it's to bring the power of music into the lives of people outside of the venue.
Right.
And so that's led to some very interesting alliances, very interesting new thinking, and I couldn't be more excited.
Well, I know when you were describing those different people with the county commission, with all of the
Mhm.
different things, there were 4 things there.
That's right.
I think you used a chair with that, didn't you?
Well, I refer to it as the four-legged stool.
Yeah, that's it. a
Four-legged stool. And I have served 2 consecutive terms as president. The bylaws require the officers to rotate off after 2 consecutive terms. So January 1, I moved off as president, and the board actually gave me a gift of a 4-legged stool, which has the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall logo on the top, and it couldn't be more appropriate.
That's great.
It's the operating model that we live with. We value our elected officials.
Right.
We respect our county administrator. We engage the community, but then we take action
Right.
and we get things done.
Right. Well, and you also said it was a dream. And you know what? I'm again talking about today. Martin Luther King says, I have a dream. And that dream has been going on, but that dream is not yet over. That dream is just the beginning of the dream that will follow. And that's the following that's already happened in Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. You have that dream. Now you're getting further and making that dream come for others. And so we all have those dreams. And I think that's what's going on. And I'm so grateful we're talking about the dreams and then also the brands.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about how that fits together, and I think you'll see that as we're going through this process. And so let's talk a little bit about how you have a connection right now with the Florida State
Right.
University. So
Exactly.
yeah, so I know that that's one of the things that you've wanted to do, and if you could explain a little bit to the folks out here, just talk to them and tell them a little bit about what the Florida State University is doing with the
Right.
music that you're doing.
Well, first, it was a dream to have a balcony. That dream is a reality now, but it's more than a balcony. It's a completely reimagined new building. And so we're excited about the venue. The sound system is fantastic. The guest experience is second to none, and the artists love it. So we've got that. Now, with the dream and the vision of bringing the power of music into the lives of people, we stepped back and said, what does that mean? How do we manifest that in the community? And we became very interested in music therapy. Music therapy is not someone sitting in the corner playing an instrument. That's passive enjoyment and entertainment. But the science of music therapy became intriguing to us. So we began researching this, and lo and behold, we learned that Florida State University in Tallahassee has one of the top organizations in music therapy in the country. 70 years that the music therapy program has been in existence. So once again, Rick, back to friends. My friend and former Commissioner Henry Dean, a graduate of Florida State University, I mentioned this to him, and he said, well, I maybe can get you a meeting with the right people. And so sure enough, one day and about a year and a half ago, we were on our way to see the provost, Dr. James Clark. And for over an hour, we shared our quest and our curiosity. And we were seeking knowledge with FSU. And that led to his full support. We then teamed up with the Dean of the College of Music, Dr. Todd Queen, who I had a list of questions for that meeting, that lunch meeting. I went through all of these about the science and all, and he just sat quietly. And at the end, he said, we have an answer for every question.
Yeah.
And it was research based. And so that led us to our kind of pyramid, that the base of our pyramid is evidence-based research. And if we start with evidence-based research, that allows us to find gaps in the community. Those gaps can lead to community programming, and that community programming can find funding, as opposed to starting with the fund driving rate. We want to know the science. And so that led us to FSU, and we have a terrific strategic alliance with them.
Didn't they start by doing a test here in St. Augustine?
Well, the Friends underwrote with, thanks to our members, which we have over 1,000 members that are very engaged with the Friends. Thanks to their support, we were able to provide a stipend for 2 PhD interns over the course of the summer to come to St. Johns County and to conduct a 5-week research project with children in a summer program between the ages, at that time we were looking at between about 2nd grade and 5th grade. And yes, that led to a terrific learning for us.
Well, I know that at that point in time, you've had some kind of a show that you created, they did particularly, and where they show exactly how that is. And I think we have it on for today.
Well, after 5 weeks of working with this group of participants at the American Legion Post in West Augustine and the Solomon Calhoun Center, I think this might be of interest to everyone.
All right. Well, let's see if we can put that on right now and see if you all will understand why this is part of where music can be so good.
using research-based interventions that we know that works on having kids express themselves, having kids practicing social skills, their motor skills and emotional skills. Sitting in our chair, grab a shaker and pass the bag. Grab a shaker and, yes, Akeem, grab a shaker and. Working with the ukulele, working with the rhythm stick, working with the egg shakers are part of that positive experience for these kiddos.
Yes, because this is the hand that holds the neck.
We each take our turn, we each have space to we're listening and we're repeating. And having that validation in a group setting, it makes a very important impact.
Adriana has a true gift, and she knows exactly how to interact with them to help bring out their expression, to help them feel at ease and to engage.
This is the, good job, one more time. This is the neck, and this is
And at the end of the session, I'm asking all of them to answer individually, how are you feeling and how much fun did you have today?
Okay, was there something that you learned today that you want to share? What did you learn today?
Have fun and be nice.
Yes, have fun and be nice. Thank you so much.
We're building these little humans to become adults and having this validation that they belong, that they are part of a community.
It brought tears to my eyes because I see what it's going to do. To reach back to 25 kids who otherwise would not have this opportunity is phenomenal. You have no idea lifelong what this is going to bring to them. We're setting a foundation for success.
So we are all here from different backgrounds and coming in together and being able to sit and have fun and play music and sing, making those connections. We have hope and we're doing something beautiful. Go. 2, 3 times.
What's been so exciting over the last 5 weeks during these pilot tests is to see the progression from 1 week to the second week to the third, the fourth, the fifth.
I remember that first day, people mentioning bullying, people mentioning it's hard for me to be here. And seeing them progress today, the last day, they were all sharing, they were all together, and they all sang together, they all played together, and they did it. You're good, Ron.
We can create a model program for any community around the country to follow. We believe that we, as a nonprofit, can absolutely change the lives of people in St. Johns County and beyond, and we're committed to doing that.
Goodbye, friends. It's time to say goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Well, Jerry, as you can see, these are younger children right now, but I know that the plan is much more, and there's also stuff going on in FSU across the water. And so if you could kind of help me understand that and help the folks out here that are listening to us today, because we know this is the reflections that we're talking about today. These are part of our Sunday reflections.
Right.
Because without this, where are we without God? So there you go. So we'll talk about that, but tell us a little bit about what's going on and what's the plans and what's going on across the water.
Well, when you think about some of the earliest music in our history, it came from church, the chants and the Gregorian chants. So this is a great connection for today. But, I'm so pleased that our current president, who took over January 1st, Dwayne Lipinski, who's been a director for the Friends for many years and will be great, continues to support this idea, as does the board, and I remain on the board. During this summer enrichment program last year, we had children there from grades that showed up at grade 1 all the way through grades 5. 5 was about the highest. And what we learned is that the sweet spot for this is around the 3rd grade, 3rd, 4th, 5th, because there's more attention span and they're maturing into the reason why this could be helpful.
Right.
And so, yes, we now have this learning in the complete paper that FSU has published. Now, remember, early on, this went through rigorous protocol approval process called an IRB, which is the Institutional Research Board that actually approves the protocols, especially working with children under FSU's guidance and their approval. So that approval has led to these 2 PhD students being able to publish a paper, which, summarizes the learning. We tracked about 7 or 8 different indicators over 5 weeks.
Wow.
So we could see what happened with emotional reality, with listening to taking attention to detail, their emotional plus joy. So there are many things that we tracked, and we could see that 85 to 90% success in all of these categories. Well, FSU has submitted that paper as one to be considered for the World Congress of Music Therapy, which is the global conference that's held. And out of 1,300 submissions, it was one of the papers submitted that will be reported on in Bologna, Italy this coming summer.
Wow.
So the summer of 26. So here we go, St. Johns County, with one small company, the Friends, a nonprofit, working in collaboration with SJC Cultural Events, Inc., working in collaboration with the administrator, working with full support of 5 elected commissioners, will now be a foundational effort on a global basis. It's pretty astounding to think about.
Yeah. And I thought that as we're going further, that we're going to be doing this as well for even older children that have become almost young adults.
Right.
And that they will also, as we speak further and further, how music is going to make so much difference.
Well, exactly. And this first enrichment program, I would call that kind of our initial test.
Right.
Does the relationship work? Can we find research that's evidence-based? Will it lead to programming? It's worked.
Right.
Beyond our expectation. So we have launched our second tranche of funding and research that began in the fall of 25.
Right.
And we're looking at teenagers and young adults, young adolescents.
Right.
And beginning to do a similar approach. The actual survey has been completed already. Now we're going into the actual one-on-one interviews and interventions to understand how we can help that cohort use music therapy in their daily lives.
Well, I can share this with you that when my wife was in Jacksonville when we were living in Atlantic Beach, that she was one that came into a governmental thing when all of the various schools had to come in one location. And so they had to come from different parts. Some were black, some were white, that they all had to come to that one place. Well, they ended up having a government paid event to have art as part of that. So they had dancing art. They had people. Well, one of the people that was working there who did clowns and made faces, she became the one in charge of Episcopal University, high school here in Jacksonville. And the others have gone. One went on to become a dancer in New York. They've changed the way that people do it, and they brought in concerts. They brought in different types of music and art. And, when you look at it with God, that you see that in some churches, you can see the dancing happening. And you'll see that that's also part of the way it works with everyone, not just with just the small part, because it changes our lives. Mm-hmm. It changes our lives. And so even as we think today, I guarantee you, as we're at amphitheater, these people come here because of the music. The music is so important to them. It gives them the way to be outside of the bad things that are falling through. And now they are joining into that. So I'm grateful about it. And I know that the folks out here are going to understand this and why they should be coming to the concert hall. They should be coming there too and see what's going on. I know I have a neighbor that's going for the first time this on Tuesday. So again, all of these things are happening. They've never been there. They've never seen it. And the same thing's going to be with Fort Mose. And we're just at the beginning. We're in the pre-K vision of music in our community, and we're so far ahead of everybody else.
Well, and your friend's going to love Gaelic Storm, so that's the band that's playing Tuesday.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's
I happen to know that off the top of my head.
That's right.
But I'd like to also, the Friends have really got this square knot partnership with the management and operating company that Gabriel Pelletier leads for us so well. And so this is a partnership that makes it happen. Now, one thing that the Friends that continue to be focused on is research. We want to always have research in the hopper as we're going forward with FSU. But research alone, it becomes a binder on a shelf.
Right.
If we're not careful. And so what we're really proud to announce is that we just launched the week of January 12th, an 18-week curriculum based on the research we gained last summer, the research that will be shared in Italy this coming summer at 3 sites in St. Johns County. And we will now be able to expand that with an 18-week actual curriculum for an after-school program at Catalinas. Also, we'll do that with our partners at the American Legion, which was the test site last summer.
On King Street.
That's right. That's right. And then we have it with out in Hastings for the first time.
Wow.
So, we're actually taking it out to the community center in Hastings.
Wow.
So this is now happening every week for 3rd, 4th, or 5th graders, as you mentioned, a little bit older. And so we're curious to see the impact of 18 weeks of consistent curriculum. Because candidly, our next dream is how do we get this to every 3rd grader in St. Johns County?
Right.
And that's a big vision.
Yeah.
There are 560 children that are in Title I schools, but over 2,000 that are in the 3rd grade.
Sure.
And imagine if we did that for a decade.
Yeah.
You change the lives of an entire, generation.
Yeah.
Because music has a healing power to it. That's scientifically proved, and I've grown to respect that more than ever with working with Florida State University because they take this seriously. And we're only using board-certified music therapists to do this work with the children over the next 18 weeks.
Well, and I think what people really haven't really seen is it means that kids growing up are going to be helping other people. And they're not going to be looking for drugs. They're not going to be looking for breaking into somebody's house. They're not, because they now know that we're all together.
Right.
That we're all together.
And you've got music as entertainment, which people understand. You can get in your car in the morning, feel bad about something, and here comes that song. And suddenly it changes your thinking. But then there is music therapy, which actually goes all the way from helping with behavioral opportunities, helping people to feel part of something bigger, helping them deal with bullying, all kinds of issues they're facing through music. In fact, going from poetry to songwriting is a very short leap.
It is.
It's a very short leap. And so that's an expressive manner that we work with the children on. So it's a really exciting time for us.
Well, I want to move a little bit away from that because I think we now have it understood that this is what's happening. And I know that people throughout the United States are going to see this, and we're going to know where St. Johns County is in being able to help kids and doing things so much better than just saying, get this test done, get this particular thing done, go and play just sports and don't worry about living life. All of that will be together.
Well, and it's an and versus an or.
That's right.
It's an and. I mean, when you can put, and music into anything, it seems to take people to a broader place.
Yeah, it really does. Well, I want to move a little bit into the brand side.
Okay.
So help me understand the brands of now of what's going on with the amphitheater and the concert hall.
So SJC Cultural Events, Inc. is an awkwardly long acronym, SJCCE, and we know that. But it's in essence the parent company that has around 50 people now working there. Now, prior to going into this public-private partnership, it's instructive to realize that 15,000 transactions a year were processed by the clerk of courts.
Right. Yeah,
those are now gone.
Yeah.
They're in this new private company. We handle all of those now.
Still, you're audited.
We're still audited, of course. We're completing our first audit right now with a third-party auditing firm. The amphitheater and the concert hall would be kind of low on the list of deferred maintenance when it comes to fire stations and other places. Now we can get maintenance done quickly and handle those outside. The payroll, millions of dollars a year of taxpayer money that was on just in payroll and insurance and compensation and benefits off the books, all in this nonprofit. So I think it's good for taxpayers. It's good for the quality of the shows, and it's good for quality of life in St. Johns County. For Sing Out Loud last year, we brought people in from all 50 states to see those shows. 50 states. So in September, the lowest, tourist month. So brands. I think that SJCCE is not yet a brand.
Right.
It's an organization that allows Gabriel Pelletier and his organization to do what they need to do to be their best. In fact, their brand essence, authenticity, never compromised.
Right.
Says it all. The brand essence for the Friends community, always ambitious. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
Real simple. So Sing Out Loud is a brand. It is a festival. It allows people to come together, see a lot of different artists, and that experience allows them to experience all that's great about St. Augustine by and large, and the areas around St. Augustine in an outdoor Francis Field experience or in a local pub, because it's a month-long thing.
That's right. Well, we
Right.
have this.
And then the Songwriters Festival comes right on top of that.
Right.
So it's really great for the small businesses throughout the county. Fort Mose Jazz and Blues is one of the most special brands we have, because you mentioned it earlier. It celebrates the first African settlement that would become America.
Yeah.
America wasn't formed yet.
You know, they were the first cowboys in Florida. Did you know that?
Well,
It's
never
just
knew that
amazing.
cowboys
They were the
were-
first cowboys. The
Yeah.
Spanish brought
Yeah.
them in to be the cowboys,
Yeah.
and they were the first cowboys in Florida,
So
and therefore America.
it's a great story that had not been told well enough.
Yeah.
And so we're proud to help a little bit with that. And when you have a Wynton Marsalis and
Oh,
his
yeah.
Lincoln Symphony Orchestra, which you and I enjoyed together,
Oh, wow.
in that beautiful scene underneath the oaks outdoors. And after the show, when Mr. Marsalis says, "This is provocative. I've never had better sound," and it was outdoors and this feel of this place.
Yeah,
So it's
that
very
whole
special.
group too from New York.
That's
He brought
right.
them all in.
Brought the whole
Yeah,
orchestra in.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of brands that we're very proud of, but they're more about events.
Right.
The Ponte Vedra Concert Hall, which was a scrappy concert hall, is now a beautiful, I think, nationally to be reckoned with concert hall.
Right.
It'll be a destination hall over the next
Yeah.
few years. And it will be a center of excellence for people that want authentic performers in the best sound, the best light, the best seats, the best gourmet food, the best terrace, all that goes with it. So that became central to the renovation plans, that we wanted it to be a wonderful experience for our volunteers that work there, for our guests that come in, for the agents that book the shows, for the artists that actually play the shows. So when you have an artist like a Ben Folds to come in, who's a world-renowned pianist, and after the show, he says to Mikey Livingston, who works there, who's been there since the very first show.
Really helped everything there. Yeah.
He's incredible, as is the whole team with Miranda and Richard and everyone else that works up there with his team, Parker and
Yeah.
Savannah.
Everybody was there. Yeah.
They're really great. But he said this is our 80th show on our tour, and I'm going to tell my agent that every one of his performers needs to play here. This is the best one we've been to in 80 shows.
Wow.
So we know that's what that brand is about. Now, the St. Augustine Amphitheater is the core brand. It's the big one.
Right.
4,800 seats. The best performers of all time have played there. It's in a wonderful ocean hammock state park. It's when you walk in, you know you're walking into something special that's ecological, that's experiential, that's emotional. And then you take your seat inside the beautiful amphitheater, and it feels large, but when you look at it from the artist's perspective, it feels small.
Yeah.
And when you see some of the people that are playing there, the names that are able to be
Paul
at there,
Simon.
Bob Dylan, Rod Stewart's coming up soon. So Carrie Baker is in charge of all of our programming, and she just has a magic touch with this, whether it's the concert hall or whether it's the amphitheater. The fifth brand that we really don't talk about enough is the International Farmers Market.
Yeah, that's true too.
Right? And so that we cherish and we just love the organic nature
On
of
Saturdays,
this huge farmers market every Saturday with the
and music,
12 to 15 piece bluegrass band playing.
Yeah.
And so we feel that we're very blessed to represent these brands in a manner they deserve to be presented. And what I love most about the Friends is that we've got this supportive community, and we can be their voice to kind of drive action sometimes.
Yeah.
What can become status quo, whether it's government or anywhere else.
Can't
right?
let it be status quo.
But the members empower this 15-person board of directors to get at it and get things done. So then you look at SJCCE and how they oversee this with such care. I mean, every one of those people are just about being the best, being their best on everything. The experience at the AMP begins when the 52-foot trailer pulls in the back.
Oh yeah.
When the team knows what the driver likes for breakfast.
They eat right away, and they love to get there.
And we love that, and we welcome them, and
they remind everybody how good it is, easy to get into, easy to undo all of their things. Yeah.
And there's a reason at the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall, the Zombies opened before we had the new concert hall, and said it's great to be back in Ponte Vedra Concert Hall where we can do our laundry. And the audience laughed, but my wife and I were sitting there. We didn't laugh because we knew we have a washer and dryer for the people on the bus to get caught up with their laundry while they're there.
Great.
It's the little things, And so when you're a community-owned, community-led, community-operated company competing with Live Nation, you have to differentiate on brand. I think it's all about your brand promise and the brand experience.
All right. Well, I've been thinking about that, and I didn't know how far this was going to go, but I did a poem about Jesus has a promise and a brand. And so I'll share that with them, and then it'll be the first time you hear it as well.
I love that.
So, first of all, there are pastors, priests, rabbis, and khatibs who give sermons that sometimes can sound like disbelief. But once you begin to understand, maybe that's not for you because your beliefs may not be the same as them. But regardless of your religion, we only need the truth, and then you will see that Jesus has a promise. And his brand is simple and complete because he makes it clear when he says the two commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. His promise was always what his Father and even to his Son, for whom he was pleased. And then Jesus told us why to pray to the Father faithfully each moment he can. And those words now belong to everyone. The Lord's Prayer says it all. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And you could read the rest and thank the Father, Son, and Spirit. All the love they give because their promises are their brand. So that was it for today for me, and I want to kind of wrap up a little bit more. We got plenty of time to talk, but it seems like for us, we have all of those different religions that have one God that I described, and that one God is the one that comes inside us, not just someplace you cannot see, but you can listen. And when he says just one word, it goes so fast that you can never get away with it. You always remember it, no matter how it happens. And so here we are today talking about helping others, helping children, helping music become something so much better, helping the community become together, bringing 50 people from all the states, all the people that come in from every single state in the United States, people that care about coming to places like St. Johns County, St. Augustine, and places that they would never have gone except for music. So I know that Nashville's great, and I know that there's one up in Colorado that's really good too, but that's not the same because we're the oldest city in the United States. And so when you start with being the oldest, I think it's kind of like the last and first. So here we are, the last, that are now going to soon be the first. And that's something that God does with all of us.
Well, if we think about St. Johns County, it has the top public school system,
Number one
one.
in Florida.
The quality of life here is second to none. You can find almost anything that you would like to do in North Florida, but especially in St. Johns County. And music is prevalent.
Right.
And so why should a St. Augustine high school graduate have to move to Nashville for a career? So now you lead to the biggest dream. The biggest dream is that we have a music ecosystem in St. Johns County that not only allows high schoolers to find their trade, or young musicians to find their voice or their musical capability, or even recording capability. One of our great corporate sponsors is Vibe Music Productions. This is a world-class production studio,
Right.
a par 5 from the concert hall,
Right.
with Danny Lobo and his team doing wonderful recordings. He's recorded platinum records in that for Fantasia and other people.
Wow.
And so how do we get these children you saw in video to be able to record their beat at the studio and begin to connect the dots that this could play a bigger part in their life, from the business side to the production side to the recording side to the entire ecosystem of music? I would suggest in my elderly state that St. Johns County has every right to be the next Austin or the next Nashville or whatever you want to call it on the East Coast.
Right.
And years ago, that was Philadelphia, in the Motown off of Motown, Macon, Georgia, fabulous center, Muscle Shoals, much smaller than St. Johns County.
Right.
So I think we've got something here that could become not only great for entertainment, great for music therapy, but great for lifelong employment.
Yeah.
And education with Flagler College. How do we, there's just, anyway, I can go pretty broad, pretty fast. with it.
Yeah, that's all right. Well,
I'll reel it back a little.
well, in Key West.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Key West is just a little town, but they're not a family town. They're not a family town.
Right.
And yet they have music as well, but not as good as ours. Their amphitheater is only half part, while ours is full. And therefore they're missing so many things. But they started up with the also having singing and going to all the different bars and restaurants to be able to have the singers be there.
Right.
And yet we have less of those, but we have more people coming. And so
and think about the marching band in schools.
oh yeah.
I mean, these are prized parts of any high school, and struggling to get the funding that they need for instruments and other things. So there's just a lot kind of around this active mind that I continuously say, if not us, whom?
Right.
If not now, when?
Yeah, well, that's a one that God really will ask you that question and ask you, are you willing? Just are you willing? That's
Sure.
all. That's all it is here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so
And remember, this started with an exploratory meeting with a sitting county commissioner at the concert hall, with a guy like me talking about this dream, and in this county, with this great opportunity, it led to this new concert hall.
yeah,
And so you're right. God's in the details on that one.
it is.
Without
There's no
a
question. Well, because you see, it's very hard. You see and hear, and those are the two things that you always can do. But if you don't do that, and I don't mean that because we have the deaf and blind school here, they can neither see nor hear, yet they do. Yet they do. They see it inside. And we all can be inside. We can know where we are inside with God because we know that He's there with us no matter when we go, how we get there. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter as long as you trust Him.
Well, and one of my members of the advisory council that I created is deaf,
Right.
fully deaf. And he would tell you that he can feel the vibrations
That's it.
and he can see the light. And so why don't we have a concert for deaf people, which is vibrations and lights?
Yeah.
Why don't we think about people that can't see, but they have such an acute sense of hearing that we're not leveraging that gift that they have right here. So it's exciting.
Well, we all have that opportunity to be together, and I think that if we continue to be in a circle rather than in a square, we can find out how we can go around so easy. You don't have to go around it's hard to get around a square. You have to go either straight or down. With a circle, you go all around.
Well, and that we're all people.
That's it.
We're not a title.
That's right.
We're not a corporation. We're just individuals trying to do the best we know how to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it's not for lack of trying. And you learn from those mistakes. And the whole concert hall, the 14-month construction project, we learned every day. We were constantly bobbing and weaving to get that thing done by August 1st because we knew the Dan Tyminski band had already been booked.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And we had sold tickets, so that we needed to be ready on time.
Well, why don't you tell the final things you'd like to tell them directly out, and then we'll end this story today.
Well, I'm just one person, Rick, who is fortunate to have married very well with a partner that, takes the time to be interested in my work, and she's Jenny's so helpful with that, and so such a great support and inspiration in many ways to what we do here. So I have to start there. If you want to, help with this movement, just go to friendspvch.org, and there's a place you can donate. You can donate to this cause. We will use. We're all volunteers on the Friends Board. I'm a volunteer. All of what you've heard me describe here, I am volunteering my time to do. I don't have any fees or payroll or anything. I just enjoy doing it. And you can go to friendspvch.org, and you can learn more about the Friends, and you can become a member, or you can donate to what we're doing. It will go directly to this. We hope to have this research for teens and adolescents completed by this early spring so that we can actually implement that in the spring with summits that are coming and try to get that into the toolbox of teenagers and adolescents. But it's been great to be back with you.
Yeah, well, same here. And I know that you all have seen how well that this goes on and how it can help you, and also for your Sunday reflections. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. God bless.
God bless.